It's time. Josh Carey.
Hey, welcome in, everybody. It's Saturday morning. It's time for Gardening Inside Out, coming to you from various locations around Middle Tennessee, but we all appear to be in the great Green Room Studios there at Bates Nursery and Garden Center. Welcome in, everybody. Good morning. How are you, David Bates?
You know what, Josh? I'm doing really well, and it's good to be here today, and it's good to be at least be seen, even if we are only seeing each other through the miracle of internet. We're grateful for that. A note right off the get-go is that we have made the decision to close Bates Nursery today.
You did.
It's a cold day. There's still a lot of people dealing with ice. It is better for us to just allow people to continue the recovery process. And it is, it's something that's worth noting that we've got to, all continue to be vigilant on, as have the workers of Nashville Electric Service.
Heroes.
Yes, and they are. And just a brief note, I saw a disturbing little video short from a local celebrity, and I won't say more than that, decrying the horrible state of preparedness of our NES folks, and nothing could be further from the truth. They have been presented with a situation that has been a Herculean effort to get it back to the state of restoration it currently is. And Tyler, I don't know if you can bring that NES map up so we can get it out there, because all I see is Josh currently. But
There you go.
what we've got is what we had actually 6 days ago are over 220,000 customers. Now, I'm still unable to see that. It may be, there we go. I've got it rectified now. And it shows you problem areas. It also on the left where it says events shows you in descending order the number of outages, and to elicit the maximum benefit to the most people. They working them rightly down from the most affected to the least affected. And if you're one of those unfortunate few that only have a handful, that puts you at the bottom of the list. That does not suggest ineptness. They have cut the number down to nearly 50,000, where it was well over 220,000. This particular map, if you just type in NES power outages, it'll take you to the link, and it'll show you where things stand currently. And I've been monitoring this closely for the past 6 days, and it's gone from nearly half of the entire areas being affected and being out of power. Not just areas, but customers. There's like 460,000, and when you're at 220,000, you're about 45% of affected people. And because of that, it's been a difficult situation, and it continues to be difficult. And the returns will be for as far as numbers of people will be likely slower now. What will help mitigate that is that they're able to concentrate efforts, Josh, on a lot more different. They got this workforce of it. It's not just Nashville Electric Service. There are utility companies from across the eastern U.S. that come in, and they get to come in voluntarily. Now they get paid for it. This is not like they're giving their time away, but to come in and rectify the situation as quickly as possible. So thank you to NES and to all those other contractors who are working tirelessly to restore power to everyone. It is daunting and quite arduous and dangerous task. So thank you to all of them, despite what others might say. It's it's a tremendous negative effort. If you're one of those unfortunate ones who do still do not have power, and um, I think what that speaks to, at least in some regard, is that we have this responsibility as individuals. When we're totally reliant on the utilities that are being provided to us, the kind of situation that we're in right now can happen. And so, whatever level of preparedness that you want to get to, uh, this points that out. Now, I know there was an event in 2014. The one I remember that really got my attention was back in '94, where I
Yeah,
said,
buddy.
okay, I'm not going through this again. 32 years ago, we went through a many day outage, and I had a small generator that was just enough to power a couple of gas heaters, which, they don't require a lot of electricity because they do use gas as the primary heating source, but they got to have electricity to run. So through that process and refill on the tank every 2 or 3 hours around the clock, uh, helped me to get incentivized that, when I can do better, I'm going to do better. So, it's one of those things I've taken to heart. And it doesn't make me anybody special. It just makes me someone who has been through it before and took careful notes. So if you're in that spot, look at the things you can do to help put yourself in a less negative situation, because there are all kinds of things that can occur. It can be storms, it can, from tornadoes, hurricanes on the coast. Um, and events like this that uh, help remind us that our reliance on the grid to provide everything for us, and it's not just the grid, it's water supplies, it's all kinds of things. A level of preparedness is really important for each of us to have. It doesn't mean you got to have a bunker and all that. It just means that you need to be prudent about uh, what you can do to prepare yourself and diminish your reliance on getting the grid back up in the area. Our um, home uh, was affected for several days, or at least our neighborhood was. I have a backup generator at home that doesn't power everything, but it powers heaters. And we had guests for the last several days, as no doubt many others. Josh, I know that includes you. You've
Yes.
had in-home guests to help, and many of those wind up being family or nearby friends who need help. And that's really if the better I can be prepared and the better you can be prepared, the more capable we are to help somebody else in a time of need.
Well, we're glad to do it, David, and everybody in Tennessee. That's the Tennessee way of doing things. You
We
reach
are,
out,
they
you
don't
help
call
your
us,
neighbors. So we don't call us volunteers for nothing, folks.
that's
But
exactly right.
yeah, but
So,
yeah, when you're my children, all three of them live in Brentwood, and it was a it was a rough time. They actually got power back yesterday morning, so my daughter sent a picture of a lamp that was lit, and she said, "Don't you love my lamp?" It's the simple things in life that what you do it. We still
well,
have it.
and maybe that's the lesson within the lesson, to appreciate what we have and to be able
Well,
to, you know, demonstrate that appreciation to others.
That's
well,
right.
So,
and again, forced winter camping is one of those things that if you have some equipment, and I used to do it for fun. It's not fun when you don't want to do it on your own. So,
no, if it's not your idea, it,
nope.
it's not very good. But there is, a measure of things we all can do, having some secondary heat sources, if nothing else, even
Absolutely.
if you don't have power. Uh, Really important to kind of think about those things. And even if they sit around for many years,
Yep.
it's, having a propane space heater or I actually,
Kerosene heater. Yeah, kerosene heaters. Gas logs are wonderful.
yep.
So
So,
use
there's
them.
all kinds of things you can do to be prepared. In addition to the obvious thing is food.
Yep.
So hopefully everyone's needs are being met, and it's been a disconcerting time for many, understandably so. So without further ado, shall we go to the weather and look at that, Tyler? And there we go. And what we can infer from this is that we're not going to have any sunshine for the next couple of days. Matter of fact, it's quite cold today in overcast conditions. So, uh, not going to have a lot of opportunities, even if you have a solar generation to produce much power that way. Uh, but uh, at least it's not as cold as it could be, although it is far from temperate. We're seeing low temperatures go down into the teens, and that condition abates a bit tomorrow night on Sunday, where we it's in the slightly higher teens. We don't get any real relief until beginning of the week on Monday, where we get back into the upper 30s, which will be most welcome, and the overnight low temperatures moderate a bit into the 20s. On Tuesday, we get perhaps real relief, where that we're going to be up into the 40s and rain. So perhaps there'll be enough rain to clear off some of the ice off the trees. With the ground being as cold as it is, it can create another set of problems. So just be mindful of that. And as we go through the remainder of the week, temperatures are in the 30s for a couple of days, and then we do get back up uh, by the early part of next week into the 50s. So there is hope on the horizon, but uh, we're not through all of this just yet. And on the weather map there, you see the precipitation. We're not getting what they're getting in East Tennessee, and certainly not what they're getting in the Carolinas. Their prediction of record snowfall. Uh, our hearts go out to them. We know, at least in a measure, what they're dealing with. So we wish the best for all. Here on the weather app here, at the Bates Nursery and Garden Center, 14.5 degrees. So we'll just say 15. And again, remind you that's a weather station here at Bates Nursery. To repeat, at the from this just in, as our friend Ernie Sykes would say, this just in from the Department of Redundancy Department. We are closed today at Bates Nursery. So what that does, and I'll be talking more about it later, but does afford you the opportunity to shop online. We've got a wealth of information, images, and shopping opportunities online, all at 20% off. So if
Wow.
you want to go online and shop because we're not open today, you still have that and you can save substantially. So check that out. And enough about all of that. We need to bring other cast members in here. Josh, then that would be
Yes.
Caroline Gant and Austin Lowen. Welcome in, guys.
Good
Skinny
morning.
Good
Austin.
morning.
Good morning. Yes, I'm very skinny today. I haven't had much food.
You're
It's been,
flat.
yeah.
Well,
I would call it more of a flatness.
Uh-huh.
we just wish you'd had the opportunity to get out and buy groceries
Mm, we
before
haven't.
the event. But since since that was not the case, you'll do without. But it's admirable that you can prioritize your family members over yourself.
Oh
So
yeah.
way to go,
Oh,
Austin. Taking one
yep.
for the home team.
That's right. Yeah, the kids are fine. Wife's fine. I'm barely hanging on, but you know what? It's okay. I'll make it. But it's been something. I mean, we haven't really left much. We've all kind of hung out and done things here, and so what you gonna do? It's what our mother threw at us, and we're just we're taking it.
Over yourself.
Oh yeah.
Way to
Huh.
go.
We're having a echo issue.
Mm.
Oh,
Appalachian.
I just
I was
got
wondering
rid
what that
of it.
was.
Oh,
That
okay.
was me.
Oh, I was like,
Oh, David.
Apologize about that. It was a temporary snafu in that I brought a different screen up so that I can have more natural viewing lines when I'm looking at Caroline and Austin, and the audio wasn't turned down. So anyway,
It
I'll
was
just
just fun.
I'll just go
we're
ahead and
glad to
pop my
have you
head in.
guys here
Say,
today for a repeat of last week, which is the virtual version of what we do here on Gardening Inside Out.
Mhm.
Hmm. Good to be here.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty amazing
Yeah.
to me that we were doing this a week ago. Like it feels like yesterday. Although
Yeah,
this
it
has been
doesn't
a
feel like
very,
that long.
no, it doesn't. Although this has been a pretty long week of us all just being home, but still, it's like, hey, we're already right back here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Jude is with us. Linda Darlene is with us. Joyce is with us. Alita is with us. Jane Ann is with us. And Craig is with us. So, hey,
They
folks.
are.
Yes.
All
And
right.
Thank
Joyce
you
is
for
going
being
on
here.
what, day 7 with no power?
That's what she said.
Joyce.
Hmm.
Joyce, I went, I think, 3 days with no power, and that was rough. So
Ugh.
thinking of you, Joyce.
Seriously, sorry, Joyce. That's awful. My mother and father both have been without power until actually yesterday. They live in Jolton, and they're at the very edge of the line when it comes to the electric service. And yeah, like I said, they just got it back yesterday. So I'm thinking about you, Joyce. I know that is rough.
And it's got to be
Yeah.
particularly frustrating when you can see neighbors that have power and you do not.
Hmm.
That's
Ooh.
particularly exasperating, but rest assured, the great personnel at Nashville Electric Service and all those who have come in to help are working around the clock to restore. Right now, we've just over 50,000 customers without. So that's still quite a lot, but it's 75% better than it was 6 days ago when over 220,000 people were without. So thank you to the good work that they're doing, and this, hope for them to remain safe and restorative with regard to
Yes.
our power.
Hmm. Yeah, we're actually, Austin and I are in Cumberland Electric. So shout out to them. I got to get the most entertainment I had in 3 days when they came out to cut down a tree on my property that was on some power lines. So I sat there and watched them for a good hour and a half. So
Yeah.
out there working.
It's
Yeah.
amazing what is of interest when there's no other means available to distract us. So,
Hmm.
Yep.
so
Nothing else to do. It was fun. Sat in my window. I'm sure they could see me.
Yeah,
I
put
see
down.
Tyler down there.
Yeah,
oh, hi. I never
Tyler,
took my camera off. I was just gonna get it over with so we can move on.
okay. Well, you have gotten it over with. So thank you, Tyler,
Wow.
for
He
getting
disappeared.
us all on air yet again. All five uh, persons remote, even though we're in the virtual studio. And Tyler came in yesterday just to arrange the studio, get some shots to give it an air of authenticity. So, it's at least somewhat familiar to what everyone's used to viewing. Caroline, I suspect you have some questions out there that we have folks who are curious about. Is that
David,
not correct?
it's 20 minutes after the hour. Before we get to questions, would you
Oh,
like to
okay.
say
Well,
something?
yeah, I have lost track of time,
Uh-huh.
and Tyler will bring up the Earth Mix screen there in just a moment, and we'll talk about it. Earth Mix Garden Products is the top of the line with regard to organic growing mediums. It's way more than organic. It's the most viable and productive soil mix you can get anywhere, and it's made right here in Nashville, Tennessee. So when you see all of those great folks we'll get to in a moment that are distributors of the product and sellers of it, you're dealing with a first class top-notch organization that really has your best horticultural interest in mind. And EarthMix takes the work out of gardening. Uh, it really makes the whole scenario for planting giving your plants what they need when you're planting, and supplying them for a stream of not just viable growing medium, but highly productive for a considerable period of time. Now, it's not sold as a fertilizer, but your plants don't know that. So, particularly if you're using something like Earth Mix Supernatural, which is the our compost that we produce, it's done so in such a way that where most composts are just whatever organic material they have, Earth Mix is done by a recipe that we don't deviate from. It's put out in windrows, and in addition to the various things, including pine fine soil conditioner, mushroom compost, earthworm castings, uh, and other inputs. The same amounts of each one are put in each time, and that includes endo and ecto mycorrhizal fungi and
Oh
human,
yeah.
which are added. Well, those are naturally occurring
They're
things.
great on a cracker too.
Maybe not so much, but
Oh.
they're great for your plants. So when you use any of the Earth Mix products, many of the other products downstream from Supernatural each have those uh, has Supernatural infused with it. Tyler, if you can go quickly over to the Find Earth Mix tab, and there you'll see all the places it is available, extensive across the eastern U.S. And we even have one great supplier out in Crested Butte, Colorado, and glad to have them on board. And we can say with relative confidence, coming soon to a location near you. We really are working at developing the line of products. We've got a new one that'll be on board for this spring. Uh, we won't talk about it too much yet because you'll find out about it when it's available. It's not quite ready yet. Had a little weather deviation that has slowed down the process, but we're well into it. So check out earthmix.net for complete information about each different product, where it can be obtained, and all the benefits you'll receive as a result of it. So, Josh, this is the point where you have a keen observation. And what is that?
Well, I also heard before we get to the magic, but I hear that there might be some seed starter available at the store when you get back open.
That is true.
Yes.
And we process sustain down
Mhm.
to a finer grade. I'm not exactly sure so you may have information that I don't have.
I think it was in the newsletter, wasn't it?
Well, it's just talked about the product sustain.
Okay.
I don't know, we've gotten the actual seed starter, which will be sustain that is has some
Spanish
other
sugar.
things
Yeah.
pulverized in to make, but sustain on its own is quite good.
Yes.
And it does not need to have anything added to it. Since you're only germinating seeds in it, it doesn't need to have other uh, amendments added into it. So it'll do great for germination. Put it in a seed tray, germinate your seeds, and then get ready to transplant.
Move it on. And it just goes to show you once again that there takes four things to have a happy garden: water, sunshine, plants, and earth mix. Ba-ching.
Oh, you added some extra magic to that, Josh.
Ching.
Yeah.
That was wow.
Pretty amazing. So anyway, thank you for giving us a moment to talk about that.
Yes.
And now we'll get back to Caroline and talk about the questions that are out there. I'm certain there are several.
Oh, we have quite a few, but do we
Right.
have a spot we need to get to before questions?
Oh,
Austin?
That's right.
We're all
Report,
good with
report,
one.
you know it's all in his head. Yeah.
Hey, that was
Sorry,
You
pretty
had
good,
the whole
Tyler.
song.
I'm
Uh-huh.
getting jammed up this morning because we had an abnormally long open, so my apologies for that.
Oh, it's all good. Okay, so I've had plenty of time to think this week, obviously. So I've got some court report things in my head. The main thing that I'm doing this week, I made a list last night. Okay, Casablanca lilies. What y'all know? They're huge. They're
Austin,
the
I'm so
Oriental
sorry.
lilies. What?
The audio was muted for the beginning.
Oh, fun.
Oh, Tyler.
That was totally my bad. So we've got
Fun.
this. We've
So-
got the sound back. If you
That
want
was
to,
the most amazing 5 minutes that we've ever had on. the
Yeah.
air.
Don't know.
Just muted. So
let's
Don't
recap.
really know where to start.
Just
back.
start back off at the top. Just white
At
flowers.
the top?
Yeah, just list.
Just start somewhere. It'll
Yeah.
be okay.
Just start
Yeah.
somewhere. Okay. So y'all missed the annuals. You missed some of the perennials. Well, whatever. Let's go to shrubs. Hey, why not?
All right.
Let's go to our favorite white blooming shrubs. Let's go Eastern Snowball, old school. Y'all know what I'm talking about. They get pretty large, pure white blooms that are about this big, but they're beautiful. Okay. And then let's go to Chinese Snowball. That's the one I grow here at the house. It's a very large growing shrub and it grows very fast. But those blooms are pure white and they are huge. I like as big as my head huge. Okay. If you're not growing Chinese Snowball, you need to think about it. Viburnum macrocephalum. All right. The double file viburnum. This is my wife's favorite viburnum, actually. It's got these like layered blooms tucked against this green foliage. Really, really beautiful and also pure white. Hey, Delaware Valley white azaleas, y'all. They bloom atop of this green foliage. You can't even see green foliage whenever it's in bloom. Okay. My father-in-law has been growing these at his house for like 20 years, consistently bloom every year, and are just a showstopper in the spring. Don't forget about those Delaware Valley azaleas and gardenias. You know, gardenias can be a little on the line here. You can grow them as a house plant, certainly. They're a little bit touchy, if you will. But you know what? Whenever they're in bloom, they're fantastic. They are pure white. Whenever they're in bloom, they do fade to this creamy yellow, but their fragrance is why we grow gardenia, and they are beautiful. All right. So pure white, beautiful little plant. And then when it comes to the goat of shrubs, when it comes to white, for me and David, growing them at his house is the Annabelle hydrangea. They are the Annabelle types. I grow Incredible at the house. There's a lot of different cultivars nowadays that are just stunning. But when you talk about a pure white hydrangea that doesn't really fade to a pink or a little bit reddish, whatever, it stays pretty pure white. That's going to be your Annabelle types. Everybody should be growing these. All right, let's go to trees. Chinese fringe tree, grow this at the house. If you're not doing it, you should
yes,
be.
sir.
Beautiful, pure white, little dainty. It looks like Caroline made a costume or something with really little things on it, and that's what it looks like. But it is pure white. The American fringe tree are native. It's more of a little shrub, kind of, but we call it fringe tree. It's fantastic. I love it. Hey, call me a redneck, but I love black locust.
You're a redneck.
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Whenever they're in full bloom, they're these white little chains of pendulous blooms. Gosh, and they smell good. I love a black locust tree. I really do. They're beautiful. Styrax, I don't even know what that is, but it's beautiful. Think about them. Google it. It's a beautiful plant. Shout out to my wife, Julie, who is doing well. She loves her catalpa trees. Those catalpas, they bloom white. What other tree gets that big and blooms that pretty? Like, not a ton of them, okay? So catalpa, shout out Julie. One of Jill's also favorite plants is a magnolia tree. What about an evergreen bloom? An evergreen tree that blooms pure white, smells fantastic, and also it was the first flowering plant on the planet. Y'all think about that for a second, all right? We sell a lot of magnolias. It's a great screening plant, but it also blooms. Fantastic plant. And then close to the goat when it comes to white blooming trees is going to be your Yoshino cherry tree. Now look, I didn't put this as the goat because it starts pink in bud and then it opens to a white. But when it's in full bloom, it is a showstopper. Everybody loves a good cherry tree. But when it comes to the goat, I'm going old school, and that's going to be dogwoods. All right, look, I know this is kind of normal. This is kind of like everybody knows dogwood, whatever. But whenever it's in full bloom, there's nothing as pure white and as beautiful as dogwood, if you ask me. It's also a true native around here, grows slow, can be put close to your home. Fantastic plant. And then I'm thinking about roses because y'all know me. I love roses. Okay. I wish I grew roses here because I would love it, but they annoy me and I've got too much going on. So I don't grow roses. But if I did and I was going to grow white roses, I would start with a few and I'll get to the goat. But the first one going to be JFK, which is a large blooming, heavy petal count hybrid tea rose. My mother grows it at her house. Fantastic fragrance. Like I said, high petal count JFK is a great white rose. Honor is another rose. Honor is very, very crisp white, okay? Love this rose. It's fantastic. Iceberg rose may be one of the best when it comes to disease resistance. So if you really want a consistent rose, it's a floribundum. sometimes a climber, but like that disease resistance, not on a black spot going on. Iceberg is a great rose. But when it comes to the goat of roses, when it comes to pure glossy green foliage, a single rose born on one stem, it is used by florists all over because of its high fragrance, which that's the thing about white roses, you don't get a ton of fragrance with them, but you do with one called Sugar Moon. Y'all, if you want to grow a white rose that is fantastic and smells great, grow the Sugar Moon. So there you go. That's my white. I got my white t-shirt on. We got white snow outside. There y'all go. Grow some white blooming things.
You know what? There's one white thing. Now it does flower and it does have a white flower. It's not anything spectacular, but it has green and dominantly white foliage is a white caladium. And
Oh, yes.
so as you get into and then we're a little ways away from it, into the annual time of year, that's one of those things that really does a great job uh, to bring highlight. And those are particularly good in an area where that it doesn't get a lot of sun. So if you're struggling to get your white into an area, that's another thing to consider.
Mhm.
So,
Gotta love those white
man.
blooms.
Yep. Okay, Caroline.
We know you do.
Now it's
I
officially
think the world knows you love
to-
white blooms. Let's get into questions, y'all.
Yes, please.
I think it's time. I do want to give a shout out to Michelle who works here. She just popped up on YouTube. So good to see
Michelle.
you, Michelle. Good morning.
Hi,
Sorry you're still without
Michelle.
power, but glad you have YouTube so you can see us. All right. So our first question, and a lot of these have to do with the ice storm. Are plant friends who have been encased in ice for days going to be okay?
Well, let's hope so. I mean, we can't really do much about it. I really am a firm believer of just let it naturally thaw. Okay, I don't really want to go out there and be like messing with them. You might end up doing more damage. So let's just let the plants, thaw naturally. And I think that they will. Plants, I mean, especially deciduous plants, are certainly capable of having ice on them for as long as they have. Their buds are tight; they're not opening yet, so I think we're good. And we don't really have much warm weather coming in the next 2 days, but after that, Monday, Tuesday, whatever, things will start thawing out. I know the trees at my house, for the most part, yesterday actually they started to thaw. So just hang it, just hang in there. It's gonna happen.
Hang out. Yeah,
Yep,
as you like to say.
stick it out,
All right,
hang
we
it
got a
out.
live.
Hang out, stick it out.
Exactly.
Hang
I
out.
was seeing
Mhm.
if you remembered that, which you did.
Yeah.
Got a live question in from Craig. Craig says,
Hey,
do you
Craig.
think we should be worried when we start getting the damaging winds in a couple of months with all these trees suffering from freeze damage?
Nah, I don't think the winds, first of all, if you when the ice is gone, they're not any more susceptible than they normally are to
Yeah.
breakage. So there's that. Number two, in case you're concerned about this, plants do not perceive wind chill. So even if it is a rather cold wind, that is a thing that mammals perceive. So uh, I don't know of any mammalian trees that are out there, so they don't they don't suffer from that aspect at all. Um, so now, does that mean that there's nothing to do? Well, no, there's probably going to be quite a lot to do. A lot of trees that have lost several significant limbs might rightly be pruned back. And of course, getting a tree service out there right now, if it's not an emergency thing,
Leave them alone.
time is your friend. So just
Yes.
be patient, and within a month or so, that backlog will have been alleviated. So you'll have the
Mhm.
opportunity to get a good arborist and tree service out there to remediate the situation. But beyond that, I would not have concerns.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it'll be okay. All right. So, what should we expect for shrubs that had ice for several days? Will they get ice burn?
Probably. Some
I
of 'em.
mean, I don't know what burn we're talking about. I mean, if it's a deciduous plant, like we said, I mean, they're gonna have ice on the stems. The ice is gonna melt, and then the stems are gonna go right back to where they were. So, I mean, I think the word burn to me is more of on like plants that have leaves right now, you might see some sort of like burn on them, say maybe camellia. I know I got some camellias here at the house that were in ice, and I haven't seen any damage on them yet. Um, but I just don't see any reason to say the word burn with plants that just have ice on the stems. That's going to end up thawing.
Yeah, and you get a two-way effect with ice on there potentially, depending on the amount of sunlight that it's directly exposed to. The ice can have this magnifying glass type effect where the sun that shines through it uh, could theoretically do some burn to some species of plants foliage. However, the sun also helps, raise the temperature, which uh, accelerates the thawing of ice on there. So the ice provides insulation as well. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword on that. I would say you likely get more, as long as it's not so much where it breaks it, you
Right.
likely get more benefit from the ice than you do detriment.
Hmm. Yeah, my stuff's starting to thaw out, and so far it looks just fine. So Wendy on Facebook says my DNR cedar is laying down on the ground like it was a ground cover. I have a blue atlas that's pretty much the same. It's just like all the way over to the side and then touching the ground. So
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of them are down. So our next question, my evergreens are drooping. Will the ice kill them or will they pop back up after it melts?
I think they'll pop back up. I mean, I talked about this actually on our podcast that we did last week. I had a hydrangea tree form hydrangea that after the first night of ice, it laid down, y'all. I mean, it's like very, very close to the ground. And I thought to myself, gosh, is this going to actually stand back up after it melts? Well, it's next to a brick wall that I've got in my house. So it had this radiant heat. So it actually melted a lot quicker than most of the trees that were around. And after it melted, I noticed that it stood perfectly back up. Okay, so I think plants have that energy to do that after that weight gets off of them. But once again, this is a wait and see kind of thing. I mean, I don't think they're going to keep laying down forever. I do think they'll stand back up, but we just got to let that ice thaw and we got to see what happens afterwards.
Yeah, and
Yeah, a lot of my stuff is starting to stand back up, like my weeping cypress. That was, laying down a little bit, but now it's upright again.
yeah, and
Uh-huh.
there may be some things where that if you have any tomato stakes left over, you might have to drive one down the side and tie it up just to give it a little support for a short period of time until it fully straightens back up on its own. But that's probably the most you need to do. There's not more than that really you can do. You
Yeah.
might give it a little assistance, but even that's questionable whether it's needed or not.
I agree.
Hmm. But if you needed steaks, where would you go?
Well, if you're talking about something to eat, you that's not what I'm talking about. What we're talking about are like wooden stakes, and that would be Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
That's right.
And today, Bates Nursery and Garden Center is closed, and because of that, if you can, there you go. Thank you, Tyler. We're we're offering a 20% off on all online sales. Now, there's three exclusions: deliveries, gift cards, and Japanese maple. But apart from that, everything else in our extensive selection is all 20% off. Doesn't matter if you're buying trees, shrubs, ground covers, soils, it's all in there. 20% off snow day sale. And that, of course, will include tomorrow as well. We're thinking we're going to be open the first of the week, but we have an extensive, and I want to give a shout out to Mary who works for us, who diligently works at the maintenance of our website and all the information there, including photographic images and descriptions. And so check it out. There is a plethora of information available to you there at batesnursery.com. And also want to give a shout out to Sarah Bates, who writes the newsletter every week, very
Bravo.
capably, I might add. And of course, we're all very mindful of the difficulties that have been bestowed on the many, and we we just hope for the best resolution as quickly as possible for everyone. Your plants are probably okay. The biggest threat apart from breakage from ice, is cold temperatures. And while it has not been warm, it has not been so severely cold that we expect to get damage due to cold weather. And there's nothing in the near forecast. So hopefully the temperatures will continue to cooperate. We'll get the melting of ice off of the plants, and relative state of normalcy will return. And that will include our normal business hours at Bates Nursery. Right now, it looks like we're on schedule to be back open on Monday. We'd love to have you come out. You may just want to come out and walk around. It's not heated in the Batesstrom area where we have all of our plants, but it gives you a good place to get out and burn some calories and walk around and ask questions. We're only too glad to help. It may not be the time when you're thinking about coming in store and buying things, but it's a good time for ideas. Bring photographs or sketches with you, and we'll help you figure out when the time gets right for you and when the weather conditions agree to that, you'll already have a plan in place to move forward with your landscape plan. So come out and see us. Bates Nursery and Garden Center will be reopening. Our plan is on Monday at 9 a.m. and we're open from 9 to 4 Monday through Friday. Normally 10 to 2 on Saturday right now, but not today due to the extreme cold weather and the just general difficulty of getting around some of the outlying areas. We decided to go ahead and close the day. So check us out online for 20% off everything savings, excluding deliveries, gift cards, and Japanese maples. But other than that, everything else is included for 94 years. Bates Nursery and Garden Centers has been that reliable horticultural source that you've come to depend on, and we're not going anywhere. So come see us, Bates Nursery and Garden Center, beautifying Nashville since 1932. Bates Nursery and Garden Center.
Very good.
So there you go.
Bravo, bravo, bravo.
What's in room with Caroline?
All right, so a quick shout out to Tyler, Celeste, and Adam, who actually brought all these plants in, because I've still been iced into my house. Haven't really made it out that much, but let's go ahead and start going on tour. Tyler, what was the theme you guys went with? Ice and fire?
Fire and ice.
Yeah, fire and ice.
Fire and ice.
That was
Fire and ice.
Celeste's kind of suggestion, and then Adam also kicked that off too by selecting the first plant, which is.
Let's go for it. All right, we did bring this in a couple weeks ago, I think, the Pacific Fire Vine Maple that we talked about a little bit on the show. It's like a Japanese maple, looks like a coral bark, but it's actually a different species, right, Austin? And
Yeah.
then we've got the Hortsman Blue Atlas Cedar. Oh, we started over again.
It's okay. Continue. It's
Right there. There we go. A lot of my cedars, my Blue Atlas, and then I've got a Carl Fuchs have been laid over, but they're starting to pop back up. And then Everlow Yew, I have some yews as well. Those are a little bit flattened, but like I said, it's starting to melt. And those little branches are starting to come back up. So they're looking a little happier right now. And there we go.
And feeling
We're just
blue.
taking a little stroll.
That's
Yeah, my feeling blue. That one is also laid over, which actually looks pretty cool right now. It's very flat on the ground. Like one of our viewers said, it looks like a ground cover currently.
Mhm.
And
That's
they are
right.
very adept at recovering from that. So I would not have concerns.
Oh no. And then Fire Chief Arborvitae. So there's our fire right there.
There you
Y'all,
go.
there are some of these planted in a median in Bellevue, and they are massive. I was telling Austin about them. I never got a photo of them, but he kind of didn't believe me at how big they were. So I do need to go back to Bellevue soon and get a picture. Oh, the screen's black. There we go.
There we go.
All right, I love this one. So this is a native, the Blue Bunny Sedge. I have some of this planted. I can't see it right now, but I'm sure it's fine. It has stayed up all winter and not really had any damage. And then Apple Blossom Burst Dianthus. Y'all, if you have been watching the show, you know this is one of my favorite sun ground covers. For me, it stays up all winter long. It never looks bad. And in the spring, it's covered with these fragrant blooms. And if you're wondering what that red is, that's going to be Forever Red Heuchera. Y'all don't need to know. I already love that. We already all know that. And then Husker Red Beard Tongue. So this is something that I also have in my garden. Shout out to Anne in our office. She gave me some that she had pulled up. She had little volunteers that popped up all over her garden this spring. I planted some that were really small, and by the fall, they were massive, and I can still see them right now. So I'm a big fan of that plant. I can't wait for it to bloom in the spring. Yep, there we go. We still got that dianthus. And then, oh, look at this. Up on the hot plate, the feature plant. This is going to be inspirational white lavender.
Wow.
How you like that,
Wow.
Austin?
Look how thick those
Yeah.
leaves are. They're like thick and flat. And then,
It's-
like I said, we have the white in the name. So Austin already talked about his white blooms. It's going to be a white blooming lavender, which you don't really see that often.
it's inspiring.
And it's
It's inspiring.
on the
Yeah.
tag. It says zone 5 to 9, so there is some hardiness aspect to it.
Mhm. That's
Very
beautiful.
good.
I do love that. Great work, Caroline.
Very good.
Great work to everybody that did the room without us there.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. Wish we could have been there, but
It was crazy.
yeah, my road is still very icy.
Yeah, it was crazy loading all those plants in, taking the photos, and then immediately unloading everything. But I'm very grateful to Adam for lending some muscle in that. And he had a lot of passion as well, and was talking about how his ice dragon was actually covered in ice, his Japanese maple.
Ooh.
And so that
Somewhat appropriate.
yeah, that gave him a lot
Nice.
of personal joy watching them be iced up. And I'm still
Okay,
here.
Caroline, I bet we have more questions.
Oh boy, do we. So our next one comes from Deborah. Deborah asked, I
Deborah.
covered a few shrubs with inverted pots last night. Can I leave the pots on until Monday morning? The sun is out, but since it's still bitter cold, will it get too hot in there and harm the shrubs?
No, it's not gonna get too hot. I mean, what's the high today? 20 or something like that. I mean, I don't care.
Yeah.
Even if the sun was blazing, like it wouldn't get too hot to damage shrubs. Now, you probably don't even necessarily really need it on there. If you wanted to take it off, you certainly could. But if you want to leave it on there till Monday, leave it on there till Monday. It's not gonna hurt anything. You're
It will
fine.
be just fine. All right. And then, hi, my poor 20-foot crepe myrtle has several main branches that broke from the ice. How would I best trim and shape the crepe myrtle for spring recovery?
Very good question. And we're going to have to observe after this is done to see where we're going to make our cut. So obviously anything that has been broken, you kind of want to remove. Let's get it back to a shape. Let's kind of pick that shape. I really like crepe myrtles that are either like 3 to 5 main stems. You don't have to do it that way, but that's kind of how I like it. So you're going to have to prune out the damage. I mean, but we're going to have to assess the damage after this kind of cold is done. So you could even send us in some pictures. We can kind of help you out
Yep.
on like getting it back to a shape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and starting, as you said, Austin, by go ahead and prune out those broken branches first, then step back and take a look at it and go, because sometimes that can be addition by subtraction. You just say, well, that limb didn't really impact it greatly. Now that it's out, it looks okay. And the good thing about crepe myrtles is that they flower on the current year wood. So whatever grows out after the freeze is where your flowers are going to come from late in the summer. So it may be that with those limbs removed, you want to do a pruning all over somewhat, but you can't really make that assessment until you get the broken out of the way, and then because they grow fast. And if you've had them for a number of years, you already know that. So recovery will be expectantly rapid.
Yeah, it could even be an opportunity to start over at the ground and train it up.
If it's that bad.
Oh,
And they will come back from that, but
Yes.
we haven't had freeze damage
Yeah.
that would suggest that that's necessary. It would only be breakage due to ice.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So we've thought a lot about outdoor plants, but a lot of folks have lost their power for a week now. So we do have a few questions about house plants. I know my sister-in-law, for one, she just got power back and her house got down to 1 degree. And
Wow.
she did lose all of
Oh.
her house plants. She sent me a video of all of them frozen. So someone is asking, Help. All my houseplants have now spent a week without power. What do I do in the aftermath? So there's really not too much you can do right now other than waiting to, see what damage they're going to have if they have any. So some of our houses did stay warmer than others. My house that I had to close off part of my house and it got down to, I think, 41 over those 3 days that I lost power. And those plants were fine. I didn't bring them in because they were still protected. They didn't have ice. They can handle it a little bit cooler. One of these questions is about citrus recovery. I think your citrus is going to be just fine.
Mhm.
But like I said, as of now, it's just like a waiting game to see what damage you do have in the next couple days. It will start to show. And with any of these plants, you're just going to want to trim off anything that starts to turn black because that's what's going to happen with just about all of these. If they did freeze, they're going to turn black or just turn to mush if it's some kind of succulent as it collapses. But a lot of these you can hopefully just prune back. I would go a little bit below that freeze damage, and hopefully we'll see some new growth push back out very, very soon. But yeah, this is really unfortunate that not only did it possibly affect some of our outdoor plants, but a lot of our house plants are going to suffer as well. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I feel you. I know some of us had really big collections. My sister-in-law's video she sent me of hers was so sad. I mean, they were just frozen solid. There's no coming back from 1 degree with those.
Ugh.
No.
But Tyler, I think it's time for some photos. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's start with Pam. So Pam sent quite a few
Bam.
photos in. She says, "Hi, Tyler and Saturday morning family. Glad y'all are making it good. It's definitely beautiful. Definitely nervous about our plants after the thaw. Trusting they are resilient and capable withstanding this snowpocalypse stressor and will surprise all of us with their capacity to recover." That's a
Okay.
gorgeous picture on the left.
Yes, it is.
This
This is
is
a good
Mhm.
picture.
this is the
Not so
perfect
gorgeous
duality of
on
what we're
the-
going through right now.
Yes. The
That looks
beauty
like
and the beast.
that looks like a great slow sledding hill.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anything will skate
Yes,
on
it
that.
does. And then our next photo comes from Joyce.
Whoa.
So
Joyce.
Joyce sent her first email was her river birch. So she says, "Thank goodness my river birch trees didn't snap during the great hack whack," which is a reference to our podcast, what Austin said, of
Yep.
26. Love that, Austin. They were bent in half on Sunday and almost upright by Friday. I did lose a 6-inch caliper hackberry and 5-inch caliper cedar in my woodland. And she's saying she has spent several hours outside cleaning them as much as she could. And then on the left, you can see her Pieris that's covered in ice. Yeah, that's a gorgeous picture. It has been really pretty seeing these plants covered in ice as much as we hate to see it and as much damage as it's caused. It is fairly pretty. So we do, at least we have that going for us.
Especially in
but-
the sunshine.
I have
Yeah,
included
yeah.
an after photo. Sorry, I
Yeah,
omitted that
there
for
you
the
go.
river birch.
Hey, the river birch. Joyce, you are super lucky when it comes to river birch. They have, they grow extremely fast, and anything that grows really fast typically has weak kind of wood, if you will. So yours splayed open like that and recovering and bouncing back, you're very lucky because birch would have probably been one of the first ones to break a little bit. So, Joyce, you're living right. You're just doing great, and your
Yay,
birch is
Joyce.
back up. Uh-huh.
And on the addition by subtraction note that I mentioned earlier, the loss of a hackberry can indeed be that.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of hackberries have gone down. They're not known for their strength. Uh, so that gives an opportunity to get more light in for other things, and or perhaps an opportunity to plant something else that's a more desirable tree.
Yep. Agreed.
That's Then our last photo comes from Colin. Colin says, "Friends, I hope
Oh.
y'all are doing okay in all this mess. I'm glad to see the nursery is taking the road of safety and remaining closed. I'm writing because a tree fell behind our house. If it broke our fence a little, probably messed up the leader of our oak, but most importantly, it literally snapped our peach tree in half."
Ah,
That's so
Oh,
oh, I
sad.
see it.
I know they are strong growers, but do you think it could come back from this? Do I plant the top half? I'm hopeful that it will come back. It has sentimental value to our family, so I'd love to see it saved if possible.
Yes, Colin, you're going to see probably an explosion of growth, to be quite honest. I mean, it's unfortunate that it broke. I'm sorry that that happened to you, but it is kind of like David said earlier, a little bit of a Mother Nature natural prune, if you will. Now, it may not be pruned how you would have done it. So let's, get the tree off of it, observe what you're looking at, send us in some pictures if you need some help on where to cut it to get it back into form. But Peach trees are resilient and they're growing machines. Whenever they take a hit like that, they're going to send out probably who knows how many stems. It's probably going to burst with growth. So hang in there, Colin. You're great, man. Your peach tree is going to be fine.
Yeah, and
It's going to be okay.
you'll make a hard prune likely if it's broken. If the whole
Yeah.
top broke, make a hard prune, and then you'll observe all the breaks that come out, and then you'll selectively thin those as the season progresses on. If you've ever seen peach trees being grown for commercial production, they prune those things so low because
Yeah.
they got to pick the fruit off of them.
Yep.
So you're not, it's not dead. It's just disfigured, and it will recover.
Mhm.
All right. And then Miriam on Facebook, shout out
Hey,
Miriam.
Miriam!
Oh,
Miriam says, I'm
it's
curious about the
Miriam,
Daffys.
woo!
All right. I'm curious about the Daffys that were showing green growth before the storm. Will they still bloom this spring?
Mine were popsicles in my yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they just kind of froze up and they're just gonna chill there until they thaw. I mean, I've seen this in past years before as well. I mean, this is not a new thing for daffodils to come up and then get frozen a little bit or get snow on them and then still bloom. So let's just wait it out, Miriam. We're just dreaming of spring. We ain't there yet, y'all. We're just dreaming of it. So just wait it out. That'll be fine.
It's so close. All right, we have a question about a pine tree, which I have a feeling a lot of folks have lost limbs on those. If I lost a bunch of large limbs on a pine tree, should it be removed or is it safe to leave it?
I mean, that's up to you. And that's another thing about observing your damage. I mean, if you see big limbs that are maybe just like half broken and they're kind of down a little, like that could be a potential for, something damaging later or them dropping off, the old, what do you call it, old widowmaker or whatever. Like if those are up there,
Buddy.
maybe, you ought to take those. But if once this ice melts and you see the tree kind of stand back up, observe it and see what it looks like. If it looks like it's standing pretty well, then it made it through. But if it's got damage here all over the place, you might want to think about getting it removed. I did notice when it comes to the damage around here, pine trees did seem to take it kind of the worst. I mean, they've really, really took that ice and they're just laying. I mean, a lot of them. So once again, we kind of have to get through this nasty little bit we've got, and then we're going to observe what we're going to, observe when it all melts.
And programming note to Tyler, I'm okay with this going a few minutes long if we need to get through the questions. So
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So we're
Go
getting some live
Caroline.
questions in from YouTube. So Anna says, good morning, Bates crew. Was hoping that our
Anna.
Bradford pear would start taking itself down. Not this time. It's still standing. And then she says, was perusing through the Vitex trees with the sale. Do y'all have any favorites for flower power? I love Vitex. I've got just the straight species. Mine is great.
I'm with Caroline on this one when it comes to, I mean, there's a lot of cultivars of Vitex nowadays, but if you go straight species, just Agnus castus, it's a large growing one. It's fast growing, blooms consistently every summer. I mean, and flower power is huge. So to me, that's my favorite.
Yeah, that one is great. And then Gina says, my lemon tree in the garage is blooming. Yay. Any hope of getting lemons? Yes, you have so much hope of getting lemons. If this is a new tree to you, I will say that sometimes it takes a couple years for them to actually produce fruit, but enjoy how it's smelling. Those are going to be in bloom for quite a while before they start producing fruit. But you can take your finger and just kind of get in that flower, get some pollen, and then move it to another one if you'd like. But they are pretty easy to fruit once they do get mature enough to start producing that. So that's
Q-tip
very
works-
exciting.
A Q-tip works well for that also.
Yeah,
Little
Q-tip
art
works
brush.
great.
Little paintbrush, yeah.
Yeah.
Little paintbrush. All right. Looking through our questions. Give me 1 second. We've answered most of them. We do have a birch tree question, which we've talked a lot about it, but if my birch tree lost branches in the ice storm, will they be a safe tree and will it grow properly?
I guess properly is in the eye of the beholder. I mean, it's birches, like I said earlier with Joyce's. I mean, it's going to explode again. I mean, they grow extremely fast, and it's even extremely common for birch trees to lose limbs even in a windstorm. I mean, it happens a lot. They're very, very brittle kind of limbs. So clean it up at the bottom and then look at it up top. But like I said, the overall form is going to change dramatically this spring whenever it re-leaves back out. So, um, that's aesthetic if you ask me. I mean, I think all trees are cool and all of them take different shapes as they age and grow up. So, let's see what yours does.
Let's see what happens. And then our final question of the morning doesn't necessarily have to do with this ice storm. Found daffodil, allium, and tulip bulbs that I forgot to plant. Is it worth planting them now? If I decide to do it now, is it okay to plant in this very cold weather that we currently have?
I mean,
Wanna-
why do you
not?
want to do it today?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like 15 degrees out there. I don't know.
I wouldn't
that
be able to
wanna
dig
do
in my
that.
ice today.
Maybe
Yeah, I mean, that's
now
the
is
thing.
a relative term, but yeah,
Yeah.
in the coming days, certainly you'll have the opportunity, and there's no reason to expect. Now, what it may do, they may flower later than what they would have normally because you didn't get them planted earlier, but they'll still flower.
Yeah. And the thing is that if you don't plant them at all, they certainly won't flower.
Right.
So you may as well, what you got to lose, you know what I mean? Go ahead and stick them in the dirt. Just not today. It's too cold out there, y'all.
Yeah, it is.
Well, maybe she wants some exercise.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
No, that's
Maybe.
asking-
Yeah. If you really want to do it, do it.
Yeah.
That's asking for it. Well, again, on one final note, I'll mention we are closed today at Bates Nursery. However, our snow sale is going on, 20% off everything, excluding delivery gift cards and Japanese maple. Other than that, everything else at batesnursery.com is on sale for 20% off. So check all that out. We're collectively getting ready for spring. That's us.
Yes.
That's you. That's everybody out there. We appreciate you being here with us today, and we're going to get through this.
Yep, absolutely. Hey, all the heroes out there working on the power, keep going at it, folks. If you see somebody, pat them on the back if you can. Buy them a cup of coffee. Do something.
A horn honk and a thumbs up goes a long way.
There you go. There you go. All righty, folks, for everybody here at Gardening Inside Out, as David says, we appreciate you joining us on Saturday mornings. Hopefully, we'll be back in studio alive next
Hopefully.
Saturday. But if not, we'll come to you virtually, even though we're really doing it. It's not really virtual. Right? Okay.
We're as real as we've ever been.
And there's no artificial intelligence. So,
No, yeah, any perception of intelligence is not artificial.
no, it's not. Hey,
Yeah.
folks, if you see us out there, we appreciate you joining us this morning. Like, subscribe, share. It really helps us out. Keep going for you. So, hey, we'll see you next Saturday morning for another Gardening Inside Out. See you then.